Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. Okay, so we're going to start out with the card. I pull a card as I'm setting up for every reading. Okay, so today we have the Queen of Cups. And this is one that is very special. For some reason, the water element and the earth element are always so important to me in my life. Of course, all of the others as well. But yeah, there's something about water and earth, but also in the queen position. And so we have the mother, right? The mother of her community, the mother of the family, the mother archetype in general, the mother goddess. You can see we're all about mothers over here. We're all about the goddesses, the mothers, that divine feminine consciousness. Now, this one pertains so much to our emotions. This is somebody who has learned to really understand that maybe the way that they're feeling is not them. It is something that is transient. It enters your life, it leaves your life, and it depends on you to decide, am I going to hold on to this emotion? Or am I going to let it go? Is this beneficial to me right now? So, the queen, so much about knowing. She has the wisdom, the intuition, and just a practical experience. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to turn this thing. And now the card energy really kind of sets the tone. It doesn't mean that it's going to be through the whole reading. Okay. Sometimes though it is. Okay. Now we're going to lift it and we're going to take a look. And I want to go ahead and tell you how much I appreciate you, which is so very much, for deciding to click on this reading. It is really, truly my honor to be able to do these readings. It really feels like such a privilege. I take reading for people quite seriously. As you know, most readers do, but to me it feels like something that has to be done with care, right? And also to just know that you're so lucky to be able to do readings in general. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead. I can't help but think that this says God. I try to steer away from saying God too much in the readings, not because, you know, I'm turning away from God, but God invokes a particular system of worship and of religion. We have G-O-D. So I try to keep it more, you know, like an umbrella term. God should be the umbrella term, really. But I don't like to make people feel left out or alienated. If you are somebody who does not, you know, I don't know, maybe you're an atheist, agnostic. Maybe you are not belonging to a certain sect or religious system, order, denomination, or, you know, whatever it is. So this word is a placeholder, okay? It means something larger than ourselves, that divine thing, that beautiful cosmos. You know, if it is he, her, you know, as many traditions believe, some of both. Even the Christian religion, right? You might be thinking, no, not in mine. Yeah, absolutely. Sophia, go look her up. She is the feminine aspect of God. Yeah, the feminine consciousness. So this is important in your life right now. Okay, your faith, your spirituality, your relationship with something, you know, outside of yourself, bigger than yourself, but also that you know is within, right? We often think of God or goddess or the divine as something that is out there in the sky, out there in the universe somewhere, you know, and if we do something bad, oh yes, they're gonna come for us, aren't they? But the reality, at least how I perceive it to be, is that this is woven into every tiny fiber of reality. We are abundantly filled, you know, from the cellular level throughout, right, with this divine thing, whatever it is, right? And so I feel like in this time in your life, this is where a lot of, I think you're being drawn to, right? We all go through periods of time where we might get away from our practices. We might not think about the divine very much. You know, I for sure, and I'm somebody who I would say I spend a good part of my day doing magic and praying and dealing with, you know, my personal pantheon and so on and so forth. And yet there are times where I will go, you know, days, weeks, even months, and it just, I get pulled in a different direction. My you know, mind is distracted from this thing. It's not a priority at that time. And then, right, the wind might shift, and here we are, and we are thinking about our place in this universe, why we are here, what we can do to be, you know, really honoring our purpose, our true will. And so I feel like there is this real, it's an aliveness. It is. It feels so vibrant and activated. Okay, now I want to get back around to the first part that we started on. And where did that go? What was that? I think it was this way. Oh, we have a face right there. Look at this. We have eyes. The hair would be up here. Here's the nose. And it looks like a beard or a goatee. So we do have a masculine person, maybe in their middle age, maybe somewhere, you know, 30s, 40s, 50s. I see two people and a child, an older child. We have a person up here blowing into a shell. We have a person over here who is meditating. And here we have a person. What are you doing? I immediately thought of making coffee. And so maybe you are somebody who loves coffee. We also have flowers kind of growing around. So I feel like you really like to be outside in the garden. Maybe you're somebody who likes to take walks. Maybe you're a gardener. Maybe you have beautiful flowers. Maybe you're even well known for it. We also have the number 404, 404. Okay, so we have this masculine person. We have this coupling with and there is a family. Okay, so I would imagine a long-term, or at least somebody who continues to be in your life, a long-term relationship, probably somebody that you had a family with, maybe a child, maybe animals, maybe, you know, you were super happy, just you and your partner. Now, I feel like this person, maybe it is that you broke up or got divorced, or but I wonder if they passed away, because we have this little boat right here. Oops. Oh, I just moved it. It reminds me very much of the ferryman, or, you know, kind of getting on the little gondola boat on the river. I think it's Styx. I know that there's a few rivers down there. But you go, when you pass away, right, you descend into Hades or the subterranean or the underworld or whatever you want to call it, and get on this little boat. They help you cross, right? And this is why people used to put a coin either on the eyes or in the mouth of somebody who has transitioned. And so I wonder if this person has passed away, or, I mean, it could be symbolic of their character changing so drastically. Now, this could be somebody that you spent years with, and as you got older, they suddenly started to become somebody else, right? It might be that this is like a health thing. It could be like, I mean, a head injury. It could be just, you know, the natural progression of things. Sometimes we just become different people as we get older, don't we? And so I feel like this is maybe where there was probably at least an emotional separation. But it could be physical as well. Like I said, it could be divorce. It could be that they passed away. It could be that, you know, you're still with them, but they just don't seem like the same person, you know. For whatever reason, you staying in the relationship, it doesn't, you know, it doesn't feel like you're with the partner that you chose, right? So that is something that's difficult. It is. But, you know, I think that as a Sagittarius, you know that you are strong and beautiful and smart and capable. And so, you know, sometimes it really is about, we have to build ourselves up after we have a situation that can really, I mean, you know, even when somebody passes away, you know, I've shared on here before, my first husband passed away when I was in my late 20s, and from a heart condition that he had. And even though, you know, we did everything to try to figure out what was going on with his health and, you know, what we could do and stuff, and he, you know, he tried, and yet he still passed away, and it was unexpected. And I still felt like I was abandoned, even though you know that you're not being abandoned, like it's not their fault, but it still feels like it, you know. And that's because I had previous stuff, you know, my parents passed away when I was a kid, and so on and so forth. And so, you know, I feel like, but it's not just me, right, that feels this way. I think so often this does happen. People also get survivor's guilt, and it's just lonely, you know, that in breaking up or falling out of love with somebody that you're living with, you know, you've maybe committed a monogamous kind of contract with one another, and yeah, it can be lonely to realize, like, I don't know who this person is anymore. I don't know who I am with this person anymore, you know? And so I do feel like this next cycle is going to be a lot about using that energy of the, you know, mastering emotions and reactions. The big thing is the reactions, right? Sometimes we can't help how we feel. It might not make sense to us even, right? You see this a lot in grief. People act all kinds of ways, and often we think, well, gosh, how could you act that way? Well, you don't know. You have no idea how somebody is going to behave when they are grieving, or they've been in crisis, or whatever. A lot of times you don't even know how you'll react until you're in it, right? And so I feel like this is the time where you are being very mindful of how you react, what you do with yourself, how you treat other people. What are you going to be doing to move forward? Are you fixing things? Are you deciding to move on? You know, are you getting your ducks in a row? Hopefully, yes. I mean, especially men and ladies, but especially to my ladies, we always need to make sure that we have a plan. You know, I remember telling my husband this years ago, right? Probably even before we were married. Shout out to my husband, by the way, over at Dove and Serpent Tarot, my husband, Paul. And he said, you know, why would you need a plan if we're going to be together forever? Well, you don't know. You know, again, speaking as somebody who was widowed at a young age, right? And Paul is my second husband, obviously. He is not an apparition. But you just never know. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what people are going to be like. You never know if you're going to change, right? But we should always have plans. We should always have, you know, especially financial plans, but also, you know, a safety plan. This is the thing that I haven't talked about in a long time. I used to talk about it in a lot of my readings, is having like a safety plan. And you usually you will see this kind of thing when you go to like a mental health facility or rehab, but I think it's important for everybody to have something like this. And basically you can print out like a template, but basically you write down what you'll do in case something happens, right? If you know, we had a God forbid, you know, some kind of disaster at the house or something, who are you going to call, right? Aside from emergency, obviously. But who is your support people? You know, if you're feeling really down and you don't know where to turn, you pull out this paper and you have a list of phone numbers. You know, you think about these things when you're a little more clear-minded, so that when something happens, you know where to go. You've already thought about it. You just need to get this paperwork out and, you know, make the calls and all of that. I like to be prepared, but this is one thing I don't see people talk about a lot. I think it's important for us to go beyond our emergency contacts, because listen, if you've never been in some kind of crisis, if it's a medical, you know, mental health, if it is a disaster of some kind, if it is an accident or somebody passes unexpectedly or something, then you don't know how chaotic it can get in your mind and just generally around you, you know. People being upset, and you know, if you're dealing with the different kinds of department, fire department, medical, whatever, you just want to have everything together. So I'm gonna shout that out. I already did. A little off topic, but you know, I do like to give some pointers here and there. So I really feel this period of time for you is not so much like the hermit mode, Sagittarius, but I do feel like it's about building yourself up, not in relation to anybody else. You know, a lot of times, and I do this myself, I love to use like I am mother in my mantra, right? That's my mantra a lot of days. But it's in relation to things outside of me. That's why I am that archetype. What am I beyond that? What am I without any connection to anything? What would I call myself? Right? And I feel like for you, that is kind of where you're at. You're looking at yourself and you're thinking, what am I? Who am I beyond all of this? You know, the family and the community and the relationships and my career and, you know, my abilities and where I lack things and, you know, whatever. None of it is who we are. These are all just details about our life. So what are you? What are you? That's a good question. But it takes a lot of self-love, a lot of prioritizing self, to kind of marry yourself to this journey of integration, of individuation, of really becoming quite holistic, right? In the wholeness of the thing. I always kind of laugh when I hear like holistic as like, oh, it's good, it's yummy, it's all healed, and yeah, maybe, but guess what? That includes the shadow, that includes the scars and the rough stuff and the mistakes and the failures, all of it. It's encapsulated in the whole. Okay, so I feel like there's a lot of self-examining and a lot of need, and we have a dog right here, to be your own best friend. Okay? Talk to yourself like you would talk to somebody who is beloved to you, like your daughter. You know, what would you say to your daughter if she was, you know, I don't know, 10 years old, she's getting into that age, you know, where she's starting to feel a little bit like an older kid and all that, and her identity is starting to really form, especially out in the like social world, right? And what would you tell her about herself to encourage her? How would you gas her up, right? What are the compliments and the fortifying, you know, sentiments and things that you would say to your daughter? Now you got to do that for yourself. You know, you have to build yourself up. You got to keep yourself knowing you're powerful. Nothing can stop you except for yourself, right? When something gets in the way, we adjust, right? We figure it out. And nothing is going to stop you from doing that. So I really do. I feel like this is a time where, yeah, there's been some hard stuff. And it doesn't feel good. But we look for the blessings in our troubles, right? And this is kind of like maybe the gift that you didn't know you wanted. It's like that free pass of getting rid of inhibition, letting yourself just be, to unfurl, right? No matter what that looks like. If it's messy, if it's crying, if it's screaming, if it's, you know, just kind of more of the same old, going through the motions and incrementally, you know, working on things. Or maybe it's a complete change. You know, maybe it is. Maybe it's like I quit my job. I'm gonna, you know, put in my notice for my lease. I'm gonna sublease, whatever it is, sell the house, whatever. I'm moving to some place and I'm gonna go, you know, study breath work or something, you know, whatever it might be. This could be you at the precipice of, you know, this unknown era of your life, but it feels golden. I just feel like it is glittering with, what's the word? Like it's sustenance, right? Like you've gotten into the dew of the thing. You found the next place that you want to be. Maybe not physical, that's not, but place emotionally, spiritually. So let's see, we also have, it looks like a lot of ones in your life right now. One. You're going to be seeing a lot of ones. And it seems like with this water, you're also coming into a place of being very drawn to the fires, the wand's energy. So that's very much about passion and lust and love and creating and activating. And so that makes sense to me. I see that we have right here a person standing next to a fire. You can see right above my finger. And so I do feel you coming into this place of getting those, like, the vision right, the emotions are locked in, and the passion is building. It's building. It's building. And I feel like this is going to be a very successful time for you, especially in matters of your kind of interior configuration. Okay. Now we're going to do 3 lucky numbers. Our first one is number 11, number 96, 11, 96, and 22. 22. All right. Now we'll head over here and we'll do our inner child oracle card. And just flip through, stop where it feels right. And it says, flow with the rhythm. Get lost in the rhythm of movement today. Ooh, time for some dancing. I'm down with that. I feel like I want to dance a little. All right, so we also have the Indigo Sage affirmation cards. And I'll just kind of flip through. We'll stop where it feels right there, and let's look at it. I guess I should show you. It's a beautiful, beautiful, some kind of mushroom. 24, projecting. Good feelings. Through divine intelligence, be aware of the energetic quality of your thoughts. Ugh. When I started to realize I was in charge of the thoughts I was having, and whatever ones I dwelled in, they really affected my entire life, the landscape and the way that I perceive things, and just, generally my mood and everything else. I thought, why? How? My thoughts, they're just, how do I control this part of myself? Or how do I know when I'm getting into something that maybe will affect me in a way that's not really of service to my ultimate work and goals and so on? It's very overwhelming when you start to realize this. But it's also such a gift to start to realize, like, I need to be conscious of, what I'm spending my time with. What am I thinking about? Of course, there are times I have intrusive thoughts, like anybody else. I sometimes have, ideation of, I don't know how to say it, unaliving, I guess, self, right? And, ideation is different than a plan. I'll just point that out. But if I decide to lock into those thoughts and spend a lot of time with them, they absolutely affect me from the very core to, the top of the mountain there. They absolutely affect me. So I have to sometimes catch myself and think, nope, not going down that corridor. Let's think about something else. And distracting myself or whatever it is, or just letting it go, right? I'll breathe instead, that kind of thing. So something to consider as well. All right, Sagittarius, I want to go ahead and tell you I love you, because I do, and I thank you for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor for me to be able to bring these messages to you. So if you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, well, I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk in a few days. Good night.